morning. My name is Keon Calloway, Program Director for Roots of Renewal NOLA. How many people do I know that's incarcerated? Pretty much all of my associates, pretty much majority of my family members, pretty much 1 out of every 5 individuals in my community has been directly impacted by mass incarceration. What do I want to have accomplished in the next 5 years? Destroy mass incarceration.
Do you know New Orleans in prisons a higher percentage of its young people than any other place on earth? And over 70% of that prison population is African American. A lot of those kids go pretty much straight from school to prison. Why? Because if you're young and black in this city, you can't find no job. And the only way to make a living is to be a criminal.
When I was 10, I had a gun. My role models were drug dealers. My role models were armed robbers. My role models was murderers, because that's all my community consisted of at that point. In 1998, I was found guilty on 2 counts of manslaughter. I did not commit those crimes.
But I went to prison at 16 and got out at 34. When I got out, there was no reentry programs to help me stop seeing myself as a prisoner and start seeing myself as a citizen. No help to find work and get my act together. That's why so many of my friends and my relatives wound up back in prison in only a couple of months. I decided it was on me to help change that.
I knew that I never want to see another Kiana go through what I've been through. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that if you're in my grasp or if you're in my presence, I'm pumping prosperity into you. I'm pumping entrepreneurship into you. I'm pumping like you need to do better, not just for you, but for your offsprings.
Hey, Roy, you ready?
Roots of Renewal is a reentry program for guys 18 to 26. The day they get out of prison, they come to us and spend 4 months learning construction skills, working on broken down houses that we're rehabbing here in the city of New Orleans. Our goal is to train them so they can move on to a good job in the construction industry.
Roots is an organization that we just don't deal with construction of houses or construction of property. We deal with constructions of the being.
The first step is to get them to talk about where they come from. You know, like what life was like when you were a kid before you wound up in prison.
Probably my 11th grade year, I stopped going to school because guns and stuff, you know, some of my friends brought guns to school. Man, it was pretty wild, you know what I'm saying? Breaking into houses, you know what I'm saying? Shootouts, all type of stuff.
My hood was like, I mean, you know, you could wake up, somebody got killed. I think the first dead body I seen was in front of church. The body was over here and the brands was over here. I probably like about 8 or 7. And you know, it wasn't nothing like, oh my God, it was like, that's just how it was. It seemed normal.
And then I get them to talk about what their life was like in prison.
Every day when I was in there, I had to sleep with one eye open and one eye closed, you hear me? And I had a big old knife under my pillow this big. Every night I slept with me because I seen dude get stabbed up. And I seen dude got stabbed all in his eye, his head. Whew, man, it's rough, man. And even though it's so easy to get yourself into them kind of troubles, especially down here, it's hard to get out. Easy to get in, hard to get out. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm most interested in is what life was like for them after they got out of prison for the first time.
So tell me what were your struggles like? What were your stoplights when you came home?
When I came home first, it was hard to find a job. In my situation, it's hard to find somewhere stable to live.
So by it being hard for you getting a job, do you think that's because of your conviction?
Yeah, I know it's because of my conviction.
That's everybody's story. Take Gerald. He's only got a single non-violent strike, but nobody will hire him.
I think you need to be more people, more open-minded. Don't be so quick to judge a person that just came home. I mean, if I just got punished, you're gonna punish me again when I come home? You don't want me robbing you. You don't want me selling drugs around, around your house. So have an open mind when it's time to give me a job.
Here's the bottom line. If we don't help these guys get past the stoplights in their lives, it's pretty much certain they're going back to prison. And that doesn't just affect them. It affects the kids who are following in their footsteps.
What?
4 months.
What? What?
Roots of Renewal uses the poverty stoplight approach to empower guys to identify for themselves the things that's keeping them from getting ahead. We all have things holding us back, the stoplights in our lives. It could be drugs. It could be not having the transportation to get to a job.
Can you go get an apartment or anything in your name at the moment? That's a red. That's definitely a red.
Once they've identified their problems, then we could begin addressing them. To start, we ask, what's the most important red light in your life? And then we start working on them. We start turning the reds to yellow, and the yellows to the green.
As far as like income. Like you're not gonna be with Roots indefinitely. So income is gonna be a major stoplight when you finish here, along with further employment.
And no surprise, employment is always their #1 red light. So we encourage them to take all the tests that they need to get OSHA certified so they can work in any construction site in the city. Roy is one who's really going after that.
I told Keon him last night, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be finished this week. And I doubled back and I'm like, better yet, I'm gonna be finished by tomorrow.
Come on, let's see how you did. Ah, you got it.
Finally.
That's what's up.
It's big, boy.
Turning something from red to yellow is like a feat in itself. It's something where they're like, man, I really accomplished something. But turning that red to green is really a joy for me to see the guys I actually, getting warmed up to change.
I was happy because I had people around me wanted to see me to do it. Like, they was helping me, but I still had, that push, like, go for it, you could do it, And I did it.
But every time a young man arrives straight out of prison, I have to remind myself that leaving the only life they've ever known behind, it's not easy. Jarvel, 18 years old.
Don't know his mission, don't know his purpose. So that's a tug of war that we're doing to get him in a position to where we need you to find your purpose. And we're just gonna be here to help you achieve those goals.
I just might skirt off in the Maserati. Can't fuck with me, I got some shooters, they be catching body.
He is just the product of his environment, honestly. Like, he speaks like his environment. He thinks like his environment.
About my niggas run around with the shot. If you want beef, then where you hiding at? If I can't find you, fuck this shit, but where your mom at?
One of the stoplights is being able to leave what got them in trouble. Community, friends. He still hangs out with the same people. He still go around the same clubs. It's like, if you did what you always done, you're gonna get what you always got. State your name and your age.
Javelle Nelson, and I'm 18.
All right. When you got your first conviction?
2017.
And tell me what that was for.
2 counts of armed robbery.
You wanna be in the situations to where you have to worry about people telling you when to wake up, giving you your food through the tray slot. That's the situations that you're trying to be in?
No.
So tell me, I want to know about Jarvel. Like I asked you this in the last interview. Tell me who Jarvel is.
I don't know.
You still don't know? We had this conversation, bro.
don't know.
Who do you think Jarvell is? Don't block up on me, yo. Yeah, don't block up on me, yo.
I don't know.
Have you been thinking about that question since the last time I asked you that?
No.
Why not? Because it don't matter right now, huh? Dog, I don't want to see you dead. I don't want to see you locked up. Because you been there. And you know that shit don't lead to nothing but two things, dead or in the penitentiary. Pick one. If that's where you're going to be, pick one.
The thing about Jarvell is like, yes, he's only 18, but at the same time, he's already got a record. He doesn't have room to mess up.
Yeah, I was on his Instagram. I literally saw him earlier this morning with a gun to his head, like taking a picture like with a real gun to his head. And I wanted to, but I'm like, man, I didn't have to, he didn't come today. That's why I kept calling him, trying to get in him, like, what's wrong with you?
Because of that, yeah.
Yeah, like, what's wrong with you? You can't continue to do things like this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
especially after what he said to you yesterday about how he doesn't care if he lives or dies.
He don't even know who he is. Like, he really do not know who he is.
Two weeks after we filmed this, our fears about Jarvell came true. He was picked up on a probation violation and stuck back in prison. Once he gets out in a year or so, then we'll see if he's finally ready to figure out who he really is. Donald, he stopped coming to Roots and is hanging out again with the same people who got him in trouble in the first place. But Roy has found a great job, and I think incarceration is forever in his rearview mirror.
New Orleans gave me the swag, I love it to the death of me. From the place where all our out-of-towners want your recipe.
And Joe is working hard during the day and making serious money as a rapper at night in the clubs. And he has a chance to be an actual star. But you can't possibly expect these guys to do it by themselves. The system has to start tearing down these stoplights. That's why we've worked so hard in the state of Louisiana for formerly incarcerated people to regain their voting rights, and also working to make it illegal for an employer or an apartment owner to even ask an applicant, have you been convicted of a felony? And I really do believe we are a part of a new movement, one that would destroy mass incarceration forever. But we'll see. This is only the beginning of this story.